Chapter 9. The Night of the Turtles. There fell between us a long and aching silence. Kensuke once never reproached me for what I had done. He was not angry or sullen at me, but I knew I had hurt him to the soul. It wasn't that we didn't speak, we did, but we no longer talked to one another as we had before. We lived each of us in our separate cocoons, quite civil, always polite, but not together anymore. He had closed in on himself and wrapped himself in his thoughts. The warmth had gone from his eyes. The laughter in the cave house was silenced. He never said so. He did not need to. But I knew that now he would prefer to paint alone, to fish alone, to be alone. So day after day I wandered the island with Stella, hoping when I returned that he might have forgiven me, that we could be friends again. But always he kept that distance between us. I grieved for my lost friendship. I remember I went often now to the other end of the island, to watch Hill, and sat there, no longer looking out for ships, but rehearsing aloud my explanation. But no matter how much I rehearsed it, how I reasoned it, I could never convince even myself that what I had done was anything other than treachery. In the end, as it turned out, it was Kensuke who explained it to me. We had just gone to bed one night when Tomodachi came to the mouth of the cage and squatted there. She had done this once or twice lately, stayed for just a few minutes, peered in at us, and gone off again. Kensuke spoke up in the darkness. "She lose Kikambo again," he said. "She always lose her baby. Kikambo very wicked baby. He run off a lot. He make Tomodachi very sad mother." He clapped his hands at her, shooing her away. "Kikambo not here, Tomodachi, not here." But Tomodachi stayed, I think for comfort more than anything else. I had noticed before with the orangutans how they would often come to Kensuke when they were upset or frightened, just to be near him. After a while, Tomodachi slunk off into the night and left us alone again, with the din of the forest and the silence between us. "I think many thoughts," Kensuke said suddenly, out of the silence. "You are sleeping, Mika-san." He had not called me by my name for weeks, ever since the Coke bottle incident. "No," I said. "Very good. I got lot to say. You listen, I talk. I think many thoughts. When I think of Tomodachi, I think of your mother. Your mother, she too lose her baby. She lose you. That very sad thing for her. Maybe she come looking and she not find you. You not there when she come. She think you dead forever. But she see you in her mind. Now as I speak, maybe she see you in her mind. You always there. I know. I have son too. I have Michiya. He always in my head. Like Kimi. They dead for sure, but they in my head. They in my head forever." For a long while he did not say another word. I thought he had gone to sleep. Then he spoke again. "I tell you everything, I think, Mika-san. It best way. I stay on this island because I want to stay on this island. I do not want to go home Japan. Different thing for you. You want go back home across the sea, and that right thing, good for you, but not good for me. For me, very sad things. Many years I live alone here. I happy here. Then you come. I hate you when you first come. But after a little while, you are like son to me. I think maybe I like father to you. You like son to me. I very sad now when you go. I like talk with you. I like listen. I like sound when you speak. I want you stay here on this island. You understand?" "I think so," I said. "But do you do one very bad thing? We friends, but you not tell me what you feel. You not say what you do. That not honourable thing to do. When I find bottle, when I read words, I very sad person indeed. But after a little while I understand. I think maybe you want stay here with me, and you want also go home. So when you find bottle, you write message. You do not say what you do because you know it make me sad. I write, yes?" "Yes," I said. "You very young person, Mika-san. You paint good picture, very good picture, like Hokusai. You have long life waiting for you. You cannot live whole life on this island with old man who die one day. So thinking like this, I changed my mind. You know what we do tomorrow?" He didn't wait for me to answer. "We start build new fire, big fire. We ready then for when we see ship. Then you go home. And also, we do another thing. We play football. You, me. What you say?" "All right." It was all I could say. He had in just those few moments lifted the whole weight of guilt off my shoulders and given me such happiness, such new hope. "Very good, very good. You sleep now. We do lot of work tomorrow. Lot of football also." The next morning we began building a beacon on the hilltop above the cave house. We used most of the pile of firewood we had collected for the cooking fire and stored in the dry at the back of the cave. He even sacrificed some of his best pieces of driftwood. It wasn't far to carry it, so before long we had enough to make a sizable fire. Kensuke said it would do for the moment, that we could find more from the forest, more and more each day as we wanted. We soon have fires so big they see in Japan maybe, he laughed. We have lunch now, then sleep, then football, yes? Later that afternoon we set up sticks in the sand for a goal and took turns at shooting at each other. The ball was very soft, so it didn't bounce any better on the sand than it had back on the mud of the recreation ground back home, but it didn't matter. Kensuke may have carried a stick, he may have been as old as the hills, but he could kick a football well enough to put it past me, and often too. What a time we had. Neither of us wanted it to end, with a crowd of bemused orangutans looking on, with Stella interfering and chasing after every goal scored. We were at it till darkness drove us at last back up the hill. We were both too tired to do more than have a long drink of water, eat a banana or two, and go to our sleeping mats. It was after our reconciliation that I came to know Kensuke better than I had ever had before. His English became more and more fluent, and he clearly loved to speak it now. For some reason, he was always more happy to talk while we were out fishing in his outrigger. We did not go out that often, only when the fishing was so poor in the shallows that we needed to catch big fish for smoking and keeping. Once at sea, the story simply flowed. He talked a great deal of his childhood in Japan, of his twin sister, and how the worst thing he'd ever done was to push her out of a tree in their garden, how she'd broken her arm, how when he painted that cherry tree, it always reminded him of her. But she too had been in Nagasaki when the bomb fell. I remember he even told me the address of where he lived when he was studying in London. Number 22, Clanricarde Gardens. I have never forgotten it. Once he had gone to watch Chelsea playing football, and afterwards he'd sat astride a lion in Trafalgar Square and being ticked off by a policeman. But it was Kimmy and Michia he talked of most, about how he wished he could have seen Michia grow up. Michia, he said, would have been nearly 50 by now if the bomb hadn't fallen on Nagasaki, and Kimmy would be exactly the same age as he was, 75. I rarely interrupted him when he was like this, but once to comfort him I did say, bombs don't kill everyone. They could still be alive, you never know. You could find out. You could go home. He looked at me then as if it was the first time such a possibility had ever occurred to him in all those years. Why not? I went on. When we see a ship and we light a fire, they could come and fetch me. You could come too. You could go back to Japan. You don't have to stay here. He thought about it for some time, but then shook his head. No, he said, they are dead. That bomb was a very big bomb, very terrible bomb. Americans say Nagasaki is destroyed. Every house. I hear them. My family dead for sure. I stay here. I stay here. I stay on my island.